Jaclyn Smith, my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Lindsay Gill, my pronouns are she, her.
We are part of the leadership team from a program at Mission Services. So Mission Services is a multi-service agency. Some of you may be familiar. We do provide shelter to men, women, gender non-conforming individuals, children, addiction support, food and nutrition support, and much more. Our specific program that we're here for today is Willow's and Emma's Place. So we work predominantly with women identifying individuals over the age of 18. We provide both a hub of services and a drop-in style, and that is Willow's Place, and currently a 23, soon to be by the end of the weekend, 30-bed shelter by the name of Emma's Place. The vast majority of the individuals we see are struggling with homelessness, living outside, and in need of covering their basic needs. At Willow's Place, we provide a safer space to either warm up or cool down, depending upon the season. Access to 3 nutritional meals a day, shower, laundry facilities, and perhaps the most important, an ear to listen to them and validate some of their struggles. We have worked very hard to create an inclusive and safe space that would help trans and non-binary folks feel safe and supported, because that is a very large gap in many of our communities. Our staff work from a trauma-informed perspective, and they're also client-centered. They want to meet people who are struggling where they're at and connect them to other services in Halton, Hamilton, Milton, wherever they're from, that may be able to also lend a hand in supporting them. We have a small group of women, it used to be larger, but as you know, homelessness is quite the crisis right now, that are actually housed and using our services to make ends meet. So typically their income goes 100% to rent, and they are left with nothing to support themselves for the rest of the month. So those individuals use our drop-in space for meals, building community, also to do laundry, which is so expensive at a laundromat, and also just to reduce the hydroelectricity bills, because they're spending the majority of their time with us and not using services at home. So regardless of why they come to our service, familiar to one of the other presenters, we don't ask too many questions. If you're there, there's a need. And in our walls, we build a community where we learn and share from one another, build solidarity, and hopefully build up each other's skills and confidence so that they can take on life's challenges. One of the questions we were asked was, why are we requesting this donation? So the reason why we come to you today, besides getting the wonderful opportunity with so many powerful, wonderful humans in the room, to brag a little bit about how unique and special our program and staff are, is to share a little bit about what we would use the money for and what's going on for us in our current crisis. At this time, we continue to see an increase of visitors to our space monthly, and it doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. Homeless woman is a much different picture than what you and I probably think of when we're thinking of homelessness, which I'm generalizing, but is probably a homeless man, perhaps with a beard and a Tim Hortons cup on the corner. Women's homelessness has not been something that's been researched well. It's in fact has very little data until maybe the last 5 years. And that's why there's a lack of information, a lack of gendered specific services. And that's specifically what our clients ask for. They feel safe surrounded by people who are women identifying, non-binary, trans people included, in a space where they don't have to worry about some of the things that are going on in the streets. Many of our clientele do come from out of town, a lot from Hamilton, or from Milton, Burlington, and the Halton, Oakville areas, because there is a lack of homeless resources in the community. There are some violence against women shelters, but as far as I know, there are no homeless shelters or drop-in spaces where people can go to be safe when they're not sure where else to go. We are very regularly receiving discharges from Joseph Brand, Oakville, Trafalgar, for people that have no fixed address and nowhere to send them in the community. So they get sent and often end up in our drop-in space, which is one of the only gender-specific drop-in spaces in a large area. So they come to stay with us where it's safe, warm, and supportive, while the look for safe accommodations more long-term continues. Sorry, lost my spot. So women, when you think of women's homelessness, is unique. Their experiences on the street are very different from that of a homeless man. They have things to worry about, like feminine hygiene, and I'm not just talking about pads and tampons, but I'm talking about yeast infection medications, clean underwear, prenatal supports, post-miscarriage supplies. They have to think about safety issues like sexual assaults while they're living outside, and often are put in a situation to have to trade sex for a safe place to stay. For this reason, we have to be ready with an arsenal of supplies and resources. So when someone presents with a need, we have a response. We want to keep people warm, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay alive. And our motto is to have what they need in one space that they're already accessing, where they already feel safe and comfortable. Sending someone with a bus ticket and a phone number doesn't usually get them there. Anxiety, stress, fear, we have more success being able to offer what people need when they're in front of us. So we also try to run health days, which is an imperative resource for women because we bring all of the medical and health professionals together, and the women can access more than one service, almost always in one day, in one place. Lindsay's gonna tell you a little story, and I have one last question to answer.
I wanted to highlight on what Jaclyn had mentioned, she had 1 minute left, I gotta talk fast. Mentioned regarding women who access our space. We've been very fortunate to be able to extend our hours past 9 p.m. and there is a high need for a safe space for women and gender diverse folks in our community. Previous to us being open past 9, we weren't able to provide support to women who were looking for service. With our service being closed and all the entrance doors being locked and no way into the building, this woman found herself unable to get the attention she deserved. While ringing the doorbell with no one to assist, this woman would then have a miscarriage by our main entrance door. To make matters worse, because she was homeless, the police arrived and treated her as a criminal, suggesting she somehow harmed her unborn baby. Stats show that 1 in 4 women in this room have experienced a miscarriage, and I would hesitate to guess that none of us were treated like a criminal while experiencing this traumatic event. This is why it is so important to have reproductive hygiene supplies to offer these women. Some items we can provide are pregnancy tests, prenatal vitamins, and referrals for ongoing care.
I don't know if I have time to finish the last one, but as you probably gathered from our story, is the things that we would use the lovely donation for would be to prepare us for this up and coming winter season. Hats, gloves, underwear, socks, hot paws, and to also facilitate and execute a health day. We typically have done them in the summer. We want to do one in the winter that would provide some specific services, including smoking cessation, Indigenous specific services and medicine, breast cancer screenings, pap smears, wound care, etc.
So the last part I have here is I will share a story of a particular circumstance that we've come across while it's been a part of our amazing programs, as this allows you to see why supplies and resources are so important. Due to the lack of shelter beds, housing, we came across supporting a woman who has been sleeping rough outside during the winter months. Many women find themselves moving between drop-ins like ours throughout the city, consistently calling shelters to see if a vacant bed is available. The woman I am referring to is a woman who has been floating through the shelter system for many years and has many complexities. Because she was unable to find a shelter space and was only accessing drop-ins, she was left to have severe frostbite on the tips of her fingers. Months later, she would then have her fingertips amputated. This is why we are thankful for this opportunity to share and educate you on women's homelessness, and for the opportunity to possibly be the chosen recipient. I can't even talk because I'm trying to rush. Because this is definitely life-changing for all of our participants we support.